those tail lights. That is awesome. Awesome, guys. Condensation. That sucks. Because it's broke right there. Alright. So that's what I got. I got the infamous broken taillight lens. Fills up with water. These are the halogens, and I put LED bulbs inside of them, and I was really happy with them. But now it's broke. And now I'm thinking, should I replace it with stock halogens, or should I do something else? Alright, so what I decided to try and do is stick with stock, but LED. I used to have the LED tail lights on the back of my Lariat F250. One thing I missed about this truck is just that cool look around the trim around it. So I'm like, well, it's not plug and play, and it'll take some wiring, but you know, let's see. And there are conversion harnesses that you can buy, but they're expensive as crap, and they have load resistors on them. I don't need load resistors, because with ForScan I can shut the hyperflash off and be good. So I'm going to save some money, and this is what I did. I got this bad boy off of eBay. This guy right here. And it has a cracked lens, but may still be watertight. May still be. There's hopes and dreams there, but these are expensive. So there's a couple things that's different about these. The plug, for one, is different. But we'll take this out of here, and the bliss on the inside, I believe that's the same as mine. It's just got a different mounting bracket here. So this will verify if that's true or not, because you can get these taillights cheaper without the bliss inside. You just need to order the back plate if they don't have the mounting bracket with it. So let's rip this thing apart and see how different it is from that, and get this thing started. Alright guys, so I've been working on this for quite a while now. So let me start with what I did. So my old taillight here, I took the blind spot sensor out of it, the harness. I took the harness out, which is right here. This clips into my factory sensor, and I cut it off, okay? Which the other end is, you know, this is for the reverse light, and then the other end plugged into the bliss sensor. I can redo that to stock, no big deal, but I needed to match the wires to here. So I did the same thing on this LED unit, which are different color-coded wires. Took it all apart and just, you know, compared the plugs and found out which wires match which colors on the other plug, and then ran them to that specific lead on the plug. And I made my own leads here, and then tied them into the stock plug. So hopefully you're following me. So this is for the bliss and the reverse light, because the reverse light is all internal on the LED. And then this guy plugs into the 3157, and I was having an issue because this ground, I don't know, this ground doesn't want to be hooked up here. I guess the ground in this harness is enough for the internal LED here. So I'm just gonna set this aside. And then the blue is parking lamp, and the red here is turn signal and brake. So I found which leads they go into. I put shrink wrap around each lead. Basically I terminated ends. So if you've never done this before, it's pretty simple to learn, but you get the, you know, different ends here. You got male and female, and then you can terminate your ends so you can just fit them on, you know, these plugs, these leads inside the plugs, you know. So not too bad, really. So they wouldn't all touch, I had to shrink wrap them. So I put some shrink coating on them, used the good old heat gun there so they wouldn't touch, and now they're good. And these aren't going to pull out. Once I know this is permanent, what I'll probably do is I'll probably fill this with epoxy, just to seal everything up, and then it will be, you know, fine. But right now I'm gonna run it like this, just for, you know, an extended trial period. So I am going to button this all back up, clip the ground off of my connector here, or just seal it up, and then put this in, and we should be good. I just obviously, you know, I triple checked the wires, and the wires are the same. They're hooked up correctly for the bliss, so that should go off without a hitch. Well, let's get this thing buttoned up and try it. All right, so I'm gonna plug everything back in a second before I mount it, just to make sure everything's still okay. Alright, let's... Oh, man. Oh, I think that's money. I think. Let's try it out. So the only thing I haven't checked is the reverse light. Oh yeah, it's working. Blind spot system fault. That ain't cool. That's not what I wanted. Alright, so the last piece of the puzzle is fixed. Just tried it out. Blind spot sensor in the tail light that I bought off eBay is junk. Guy sold me a working part. It's not working. And yeah, that kind of irritates me a little bit. But it is what it is. I put my sensor in it and it works just fine. So I'm gonna get this guy buttoned up now and put together. See how it looks. And then maybe I'll get some night shots too. And it'll be a comparison because I only have one right now. And like I said, this lens here is cracked beyond repair. I don't know if I can do anything to it to fix it, or just look for a new lens. But either way, I'm gonna put this back together for hopefully one final time. All right, guys. So it is dusk. I'll show you these lights now. You can see them really good. Look at that. It just looks so good. That trim ring is just amazing. So here's stock, the halogens, and that's with LED bulbs. Those are the Sylvania, I don't know, fancy ones. You can see them right there. But that looks so good. We'll turn on the 4-ways now. Oh yeah, that's nice. Nice. What do you think, chickens? Yeah? Alright, so real quick, here it is, nighttime. That looks so good. Okay. I mean, you gotta admit, looks super good. Totally. Yep. I'm digging it. And then for comparison, yeah, boring, right? Oh, it looks so good. So good. Alright, enough. So now that I know everything works, it's time to figure out how to seal this thing up, and prevent these wires from coming out, working their way out. So the biggest challenge is going to be these holes go all the way through, you know what I mean? So somehow I need to kind of block this side off so I can fill this side with epoxy. or I do a little bit of epoxy at a time. I don't know. I think I'm going to try and tape this up as best as I can first, and then do a thin layer of epoxy on the other side, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, so I just taped the bottom, and then the vise is just kind of holding it here. So what I did was I bought the clear JB Weld with the 5-minute set, hoping that it thickens pretty quick, so it'll minimize how much actually falls through the plug. And just kind of give it a shot, see what happens. Pretty simple, just mix it and apply it. Oh, we'll see. I'm gonna start with a small coat and go from there. Well, I know there's a certain way to mix this, so I'm sure I'm doing it wrong. Whew, stinks. Man. Then I guess I'm just gonna try and pour it in there. Well, that went pretty quick. Well, I'll keep doing it until we get quite a bit in there, I guess. We'll let that sit quite a bit in there, and then I'll check back in with you. All right, so she is full, definitely full, and it's cured. I mean, it says it takes an hour to cure, so I mean, it probably hasn't been quite an hour. I don't know, it feels a little tacky, but basically I put, you know, a small layer in the bottom to hopefully, you know, help seal it up, and then I mixed up quite a bit after that one dried, and pretty much just filled in everything else. Now that'll definitely hold those wires in, so I won't have to worry about them ever rattling loose. So let's get this thing off, take the tape off, and see what it looks like on the underside. So as expected, I did get some leak through there, but I knew that was going to happen. I mean, there were some pretty big holes, but didn't affect anything. So I'm going to put this thing back together, get this old taillight out of here, then plug it back in, just make sure everything still works. Taillight is back in, and as you can see, still works. Alright, so if that's all you needed to see, the video's done for you. If you want to see details on pinning the wires and everything like that, continue to watch, because the second headlight or tail light is on its way right now today, and I'm going to start the wiring for it. Okay, so you start off, I need 7 wires here, and I just cut them so long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install this connector on one end that'll go over the pin on the new LED light connector. And then the other end will splice into, 2 of them will splice into this without the ground, no ground on this one. And then the other ones will splice into the harness on here for the blind spot mirror, which I'll clip that right off. So then this plug will plug into the stock harness on the truck, and then it will go to these pins and to the new taillight wiring assembly. So that'll control the, also it will control the backup light as well. So I'll show you how to pin one of these guys, and then after that I'll just time lapse it, but at least you can see how it's done. And yeah, let's check it out. So obviously first you want to strip the connection. You don't need much stripped off of these guys here. So the typical way these work, typically you have a seal, and this is going to go into a plug. So you crimp down onto your copper, your metal, and then you crimp over the seal. You put the seal on here. Well, I don't have to worry about a seal on this. I'm not dealing with that. I'm going to shrink tube them. So you get that guy on there like that. and you got two crimps. This one, like I said, is for the metal. This one is for the seal or the insulation. Okay, crimp one, the metal's crimped, okay? And then the next one, the rest of it's crimped around the wire now. It's as easy as that. And then you just, I'll do the shrink tubing so you can see that. Don't need much of this. And like I said before, I'm using the shrink tubing just so the connectors don't touch each other when they're plugged in. Done. And then this side is going to splice onto the wire harness that I cut off of my stock harness, the inside of the light. That's it. So I'm going to go ahead and get these done. Alright guys, there you go. Both lights operational. Okay, so I want you guys to remember something. If you really want to figure something out and you really have the drive to do it, then do it. Just try it. You know, like I said, I didn't want to blow a bunch of money on a perfect taillight if it didn't work. So I got the broken one, and right now I'm just gonna run with it until I come across a good deal, which might never happen, but we'll see. But I did have some inspiration in pushing myself to figure this out, and that's definitely gonna be Bees for Build. I mean, they will try anything, and they always succeed. It's insane. And then as far as electrical goes, Motion Auto TV, he does like all his own wiring harnesses, and I'm like, oh man, he makes it, I know it's not, but he makes it look easy to pin plugs and make harnesses, and yeah, he loves the challenge. So those two channels definitely inspired me to try this, and look what it did. I mean, they work perfect. So if you want to do this upgrade, it's possible, and I just showed you how. So all right guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully some of you guys try this. Till we meet again. Later.